Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Suwilanjinamutenda and I am joined by my fiancé Johan.
Hello everyone.
So welcome back to part 2 of the Get to Know Us Fiancé tag. So before we even get started, we would like to thank everyone that watched part 1.
Yeah, the response was so overwhelming. So thank you very much for everyone that watched the video, shared the video and liked the video. And we hope that this video will be as informative and as fun as the last one.
Yep.
So let's get started with part 2.
Let's get started. So the first question is, when is the wedding? I guess this is the question that everybody has been asking.
Yeah. Well, the wedding is set for September 2020. We're yet to confirm with the date, but God willing, on the 12th of September.
By the grace of God.
Yeah. But it's in September 2020.
So how long did you court?
10 months.
About 10 months, yes, because we started dating in September 9th and you reached home somewhere July end of July, yes. So but he only gave me the ring after 2 months. So yeah. Just trying
you have
to
create
put that
some anticipation and curiosity in someone. So that's what I was trying to do.
I guess so.
Yeah,
but anyway. That's that. The question is, what is your say about setting boundaries in a relationship, and would you advise that those boundaries are set early in the relationship? So babe, what do you think about boundaries?
I believe first to understand what boundaries are in a relationship, and my understanding of boundaries are like a set of rules of the do's and don'ts in a relationship. So I believe every relationship needs boundaries, because without those boundaries it's like you are moving without vision. And I believe boundaries also act as a foundation of how your relationship moves, because it sets rules of the do's and don'ts in that relationship. So I believe they're very important in any relationship, and they should be set early, because I believe when you start a relationship without boundaries, you both be moving blindly. But once you start a relationship and you discuss together on what to do and what not to do in a relationship, I think it will help the relationship grow in a direction which you both had agreed on. Yeah. So I think that's what I think is my understanding of boundaries, and whether or not they should be set early. Set them early, people.
Yes, set them early.
Yes. What do you think about setting boundaries?
I agree with what you've said, and I would just like to add on. The Bible says that without a vision, people perish, and I believe that when you are starting a relationship, you're supposed to know exactly where you want to go. You are supposed to know what kind of a relationship do you want to have. Do you want a relationship that glorifies God, or do you want a relationship where you do whatever it is that you want? So if it's a relationship that has to do with you glorifying God at the end of the day, you need to have a vision of it and say, okay, this is what we want for our relationship, and this is how we're going to run our relationship until the end time. So when you set those boundaries and say, okay, this is what we're supposed to do and this is what we're supposed to do, and this is what we are not supposed to do. I've found that a lot of people start relationships blindly. And they end up doing things in the relationship that they could have avoided in the first place. Because if both people, the Bible says that how can two walk unless they agree? So there are couples where one person has got boundaries for the relationship, the other person does not know those boundaries. And then what ends up happening is that one person is like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, and then the other person also has another idea. So there's like a conflict of some sort. But if you come together as a couple and say, okay, so you discuss, how do we want this relationship to be, and what are the boundaries that we're going to set for this relationship, and then you say, okay, so we can't sleep at each other's house we can't sleep at each other's houses, we can't do sleepovers, we can't start touching and all these things. In order for us, if we want to glorify God, so those are boundaries that you set depending on the type of relationship that both of you want to have. So yes, it's important to set boundaries, and yes, they should be set early on in the relationship so that you are both on the same page and you know how you're going to move. Yeah. Question is, what is your advice to a lady who is single? How should they be intentional about them being single? So one thing I want to tell all my single ladies out there is that relationships are not what you think they are. Like, we have this idea of this perfect relationship, of how nice the relationship is going to be, how sweet, how, oh my gosh, all these things. It's like a facade. It's like, it's not real. It's an idea from your mind. And before I got in a relationship, I believe I also had this idea of relationships, but they're so different when you get into them, because they force you to grow and so many other things. So what I can advise someone who is single is to be content with your singleness, and to wait on God's timing to bring the right person, because the Bible says that God makes everything perfect in his own time. Okay, and if it's not in God's time, it will not be perfect. So be intentional. How can you be intentional about your singleness? You can do things that you've always wanted to do. You can start a business, like, do things that you've always wanted to do. Don't wait, because God didn't put you on wait. Like, no one has told you to just be waiting. I know people are just waiting, like, oh, I'm just going to wait until, like, I get in the relationship, then I start living my life. No.
You've got life to live even before a relationship starts.
Start living your life right now, because when you get in a relationship, everything is complicated, because now you can't make decisions on your own. You have to depend on the other person to make a decision. Now you can't just wake up and say, okay, I'm going to the UK. Okay, I'm going to get a scholarship and go abroad, especially if you are engaged. So be intentional. Do things that you love to do. Develop yourself, finances and whatnot. Like, just work on yourself. That's how you can be intentional about your single life.
Thank you very much. That's very good advice. Single ladies, that's some data for you right there.
Thank you, babe. Okay, so the next question is, how have you been able to deal with each other's difference in personality? So, babe, how have you handled our differences in personality?
I think the most important thing is first to accept that you're different, because I've seen people in a relationship who've thought because they're in a relationship they have to be similar to each other. We are different people, so we have to understand and accept the fact that we're different. And another thing is, the difference in personality doesn't mean you have to change the other person. I believe God created us all different, and we have to embrace each other's differences and just try to make each other better people, not changing the person to be what you want them to be. So I believe the differences, how we've managed to embrace each other's differences, is we've accepted that we're different, and those flaws that we have, we've tried to make each other better. So don't try to change your partner. They'll never change. They are differently created by God. So just embrace their difference and accept their flaws, but try to help each other be better people. How have we managed?
I would just actually, babe, you said everything that I wanted to say. I just want to add on a few things that you added. So the thing that I got from him is, help each other become better and do not change each other. I feel like, especially women, we try to change our man. Like, we want him to be the person that we have always dreamt of being. And I had a challenge, as well, especially when we just go together. I wanted Johan to be what I wanted him to be in my mind. But Johan is an individual. And God, the way God creates a person, he creates them according to the purpose that they're going to carry out on the earth. So if God has created someone to be a man of God, like a preacher, he's going to be very vocal. He'll be open. And God has created someone to be maybe someone who just cares for people. He'll be maybe very gentle and whatnot. But the thing is, we have an idea in our minds of the perfect man and what exactly is supposed to do, and that idea conflicts with the person that we're with, and we end up missing out on the person because we think he should be like this when he's actually supposed to be the way he is. So when you understand the purpose of a person, it's very easy for you to understand the differences that you have. I would also like to make mention of most people think, okay, it's okay to be different, but you must have common values or beliefs. There's certain things that are supposed to be similar between you two, because if you are very different, it's also a problem, because if the vision is different, it will be very difficult for you guys
you'll
to
be conflicting. Conflicting beliefs. Which will become a problem.
So if you're different or very similar, it's not an issue. The issue is just having something that's a common ground, and accepting the person, and also helping them become a better person instead of changing them. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to this channel, click the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell to get notified every time I post a new video. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and also leave your comments of how you have been blessed by this sharing. So thank you so much.
From us, it's bye-bye.
Bye.